Hey, welcome back, and today we're doing a little video on our bean trellis. We do this every year. Pretty much it's a simple process. It's just cattle panels you can buy from your local big name store, Tractor Supply, Co-op, Southern States, Lowe's has them, Home Depot may have them. And basically all we do is, to start out with mine, I've got three simple things. I've got a hammer, some concrete form stakes. You can see them at Lowe's and Home Depot also. They're about 3 foot long. The cost last year was, I think, $3.50 a piece. They're well worth it in gardening. And I just drive them at the corners of where I want my rows to start, and that's where I tie off at. And you'll see behind me we've got some fence posts in place also. The fence posts come like every other two, and the rest of them I'll use a concrete form stake on. Mainly just to save supplies. Fence posts are $6 to $7 a piece now in Tennessee, and the concrete form stakes are just an easier alternative for me. You can carry more of them, and you'll see me throughout this video walking back and forth to get tools and stuff, because I can't carry a lot of tools in my pocket. I've got that disease when you get my age where your ass falls off. So anything I carry in my pocket is extra weight, and by the time I got down to the end of the row, I'd be arrested for indecent exposure. I'm always having to pull my pants up. So bear with me. I'm going to cut the segments up a little bit, and hopefully we can get this thing done. I'm only going to do about probably 10 panels. Give a good entrance, a good look to the garden. Then after that, I'll just put up fence posts, and we'll put the cattle panels up just straight, and that'll finish out my row. These rows are 250 foot long in the garden this year. We've actually got 1 acre set aside for garden spot this year, already tilled up and under. Tomatoes, cucumbers, peppers, squash, zucchini, corn, watermelon, cantaloupe, a row of peanuts for my mother-in-law, and 2 rows of sweet potatoes for the rest of the family. And I think we got 28 hills of cucumbers already in the ground, and right around 30 hills of squash and zucchini, and it's already breaking the ground. The tomatoes aren't doing as well as I hoped. We had an early season, we thought, where the weather was going to allow us to get out and get them started early, and then we had 2 days of below freezing temperatures and frost, and that kind of set us back just a little bit in this region. But anyway, bear with me, let me get this done, and after it's complete, I'll walk you through the steps on how you can do this. It's a simple process. You can do it for big gardens, raised beds, anything of that nature. You don't have to exactly use these materials, but they are available out there. So with that being said, give me a moment. Let me get my material back up here and ready, and we'll go at it. A lot of people think that with this, if they're heavy and clumsy, and they're really not. They're pretty light. I don't know the exact weight of them, but you can get them in here easy. Get them back here where your row is going to be at, like this. Simply grab one corner, roll it up, and just walk it right in. And then I'll use zip ties on these. Sometimes if you got unlevel ground like I do right here in this one spot, you can dig down and make them more symmetrical. It looks better, but it really doesn't change anything as far as harvesting and plant growth and things like that. But I will go in here and dig out a little bit and get it down to where it needs to be. But You necessarily don't have to. And a lot of people's not going to do like I do. They're not going to have a 50-foot row of these or a 100-foot row of these. So to each their own. I like having a big garden every year. A little over 52,000 square foot of growing space, which we won't use all that. We've got some wide gaps between the rows this year because of some varieties of plants that we're planting. But anyhow, let me get this dug out and put into place, and we'll go for the next panel. All right, let's take a quick look at what we've done so far. All right, here's our concrete stakes that I was talking about. You can see the little holes in them. Just drive one at the corner to start your row off, and I do 8 foot apart. As you can tell, some of these have been bent from prior years, and it's not going to be the prettiest thing in your sight, excuse me, when you first put it up. But once the beans get on there and the foliage and they start developing, you don't see none of this, and it makes a really good look in your garden. I just run a piece of wire to keep me in line. This is a 6 foot, no, that's a 5 foot, I'm sorry, 5 foot fence post, T-post. I think I stuck at 6 foot over there because of the height difference where the hill is. That way, if there's a great distance in the elevation, you can always raise your cattle panel up on that fence post and simply tie it with a zip tie, like I've got right there, to the elevation to kind of level it out. I'm not worried about that. And these are some of the old, just real cheap fence posts you pick up for like $2 a piece sometimes at hardware stores. It's always handy. They're not very durable. I mean, you're not going to put a fence up with them. You may to keep like a small dog in a little enclosure, but you can actually bend these kind of to form your loop in certain areas. Now, what we've got up at the top right here is we're kind of going uphill, but that's the lay of the land. So what I can do is I can take my garden hoe. Well, no, I can't. She's still in the bed. Anyway, I can take my garden tool and dig down at the edges of it and kind of level it up. Will I do that? I doubt it. I very seriously freaking doubt it. So as you can see by the beaming sunlight coming out of the overcast skies, that rain's moving on. And I really wanted to get done with some bee work, and I've got watermelons to plant, I've got cantaloupes to plant, peanuts to plant. I gotta go get diesel fuel for that piece of crap down there, and don't get me started on the tractor. We'll talk about that in another video, but right now we're just worried about the damn bean trellis. So anyhow, let me go ahead and get a couple more panels over here. We'll get them drove in, spin it around, and like I said, it's ugly. Trust me, it's ugly. But once the foliage comes up, it's like being drunk 3 o'clock at the Waffle House. Everything that walks through the door is pretty. It'll be beautiful. Trust me on this, okay? So, hang tight. We'll get some more done, and then off to planting I get to go. Alright. We've got our trellis done. As you can see, we got our little cedar out here. I'm putting some Blue Lake pole beans up on it. Some zip ties. I'll come here and trim them up. We got our concrete stakes. Then every few panels we'll put a fence post up just to make sure it's secure. And I use zip ties because wire tends to get dropped on the ground and it gets into the tiller parts, eats up the seals like string does, and I don't need that on either one of my tillers, the one on the tractor or my little trolley belts. But I plant beans on both sides of the trellis, As you can see, I've got my row down through here. The beans are planted each side as close as I can get to the fence on this side, and about 6 inches out on the inside. And that is the trellis system for the beans. We do not put up a lot of green beans, but we do give a lot of vegetables away, and green beans are one of them that everybody's always asking for. So what we'll do is, let me flip you with me right here. We'll have equal 4 rows here. This is 60 panels. Oh shoot, 60 foot. So that's 12 panels. I think, something like that. Yep, 5 foot. So what we've got is I'll finish out the rows here with different types of beans. My mother-in-law wants a certain type of bean. My dad wants a certain type of bean. Even though he's got his own gardens, I always plant what he likes. Because if one garden fails, then, you know, there's always a fallback. And that'll be about another 100 foot, 110 foot. That's the trellis system. And down here on the end, I just stuck some old electric fence posts that we had for temporary stables and stuff like that around the farm to keep in pesky goats or whatever we had at that time. And they form pretty good to it, and they hold it really well. So you can also use something like that. It's whatever you've got on hand just to hold it in the ground. And as you see, I've made it pretty short. I'm having to duck down to go under it, so my wife should be able to pick them, and her mother, and all those. I left these up a little bit higher so I could get in with the tiller and just kind of scrunch down as I went through. But that's it. That is this year's bean trellis. And next year we'll figure out a different way to do it and hopefully do it better. But I've got to get back to planting. We've got watermelons and corn we got to put out today. So been a pleasure doing another video. Hope you guys enjoy. Leave me a comment with some questions and I'll be glad to answer it. If you get a chance, check out some other garden videos from earlier. Got a lot of starting up processes and things that I do and my father does. So until next time, y'all have a great day.